intended.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. Pablo and Curate Pablo and want to be really there in the mood and just active again. So you can take on what this new year has to do. The new signings of Chelsea are, still they're there. The new signings of Chelsea are announcing themselves. West Ham took the lead in the 6 minutes through Lucas Paqueta, and at that point, if you're a neutral fan, I predicted that 2-2 for the game. So someone like me thought that Chelsea would score back, of course, and then I think West Ham would be able to maintain that and get a double. After the 1-0, Chelsea had total dominance, and 5-1 for Chelsea. That puts them up the table a better, Chelsea now up the table better. That was the first game. Lucas Paqueta wasn't enough to beat West Ham. So West Ham, I think, Tottenham now has Mohamed Kudus. So West Ham needs a player like that who loves to run with the ball, loves to dribble, and someone who will hold up the ball. West Ham has a lot of technicians now. Yeah, they have James Ward-Prowse, etc. So that's what West Ham needs to work on, or else it's looking, as I predicted in the first video. Not sure if y'all guys watched it. So this year is gonna be the closest year Prem. I'm saying that the top 8 is gonna be close, less than 20 points between the top 8. That's what I think. Less than 20 points between the entire top 8. So we're looking at the top half and the bottom half. Close, like really close. Points being shared equally straight across the board. So then, City and Spurs played 2-0. I was Richarlison Andre, 9 rights Richarlison Andre, R9. The Brazilian number 9 was once again the star of the show. Since he's signed for Tottenham, Tottenham signed him as a 9 in the autumn of 2022, under Antonio Conte, when we just got back into the Champions League. Harry Kane was still there. So with Harry Kane there, as they want Harry Kane to be a 9, he was the 10 of Tottenham. So Richarlison is just starting to look settled at Tottenham Hotspur, because all the main profiles who were there before him are no longer there. Harry Kane left. Minson left. Yeah, Minson is no longer at Tottenham. Yeah, Minson is no longer at Tottenham. He's now at not Tottenham. So Richarlison, with more influence in the squad, he has started the season well. Both goals were through him. His hold-up play magnificent. He's my holding forward. He's my holding forward, and he's doing what he's doing good. Pape Matasar, what a player in midfield, Perfect man to be just in there causing help for everyone, I guess. He's there for opponents. As you get the ball, that's him taking the ball from you. And I love that for Pape Matasar. That was Man City and Spurs, But still, it's a rarity. Since recently, it's really been a rarity for both Tottenham and City to score in the same game. That's a rarity. So we're still looking towards those stuff to see both teams scoring together. 2-0 victory, nice game. We got to see how City will look for this season with Rodri and Phil Foden coming back. Rodrigo Hernandez Cascante, they finally regaining fitness after what a year that was. And Man City should be a stronger team this year. And Tottenham, we don't know what to expect yet. So that was the second game of the match week. Burnley versus Sunderland. I predicted, you know, if you follow me on Instagram, I'm predicting for the previews, and maybe, who knows, maybe Thursday I'll make a video. Maybe Thursday I'll make a video to preview the game week 3. Not sure yet. Burnley versus Sunderland. Burnley, you know, has Scott Parker as their coach, and we got Wilson Odobert from them. So we have strong connections with the Burnley. Yeah, I think Burnley can stay up if they keep focus. I have 2 of them guys in my team of the week. I also build a team of the week on Instagram. You can watch Instagram. Just get on my Instagram, you know, get on my Instagram. 21kp, 235. I'm gonna put them in the description. 21 the Gender Sphere, B River F Community, Pablonia Music, all of those. So the game started fairly even with Burnley and Sunderland. First half made no goals. It was 2 second half goals, but the second half Burnley got an early goal in the 47 minutes, and from there they looked a more confident team, and eventually they got to double the lead in the 88 minutes, secure their first 3 points of the season, and you know, Scott Parker will be a more comfortable coach knowing that his team know what it feels like to win in the Prem. And it's what makes it even better is versus a fellow promoted team. So Sunderland at home is a stronger team. Burnley at home is a stronger team than Sunderland, and that's good. That's good. That indicates that Burnley can have a stronger season if they stay focused. If they, you know, because we start to win and then we get distracted and all those stuff. But 3 points on board for Scott Parker and Burnley. Let's see what they do the next game. Brentford and Aston Villa. So Brentford no longer has Thomas Frank. They a new coach. Neither is Brian Bueno there. They have a new coach, and you know their main players are pushing for a move. You have Christian Norgard, most people speak on him, and Wissa wants to leave too. So we're looking at a completely new project at Brentford, and they got the win versus Aston Villa, who the main player for them is, from my perspective, Liam Bailey is no longer at Aston Villa. He's a lone player now for AS Roma. So with all of that, you know, I'm not following Aston Villa anymore. You know, from start I wasn't really, you know, we needed to follow them 2 years ago because Arsenal would have won the league if we weren't up there seeing Liam Bailey doing those world-class performances. Now Liam Bailey is in Italy. I'm sure it's gonna take some time for him to adjust to the new environment that he will be in. It's clear, it's obvious, you know. Over time though, we will see the Jamaican being brilliant. We will see the Jamaican being brilliant in Italy. Yeah. So 1-0 Brentford, Aston Villa. Now the team Tottenham will be facing next, Bournemouth versus the team I always tip for relegation, Wolves. Bournemouth got a 1-0 victory over Wolves. The good thing for Wolves is that Hwang Hee-chan is getting a move to go to a more sustainable club where he can become a more, now that Heung-min Son is not in the league again. Who is that Korean? Who is that Korean in the English league? Lighting up the English league, you know? So, looking to see how Hwang Hee-chan develops in this new chapter of his career. It may be a loan move. Still a new chapter though, because there's an option for it to become permanent. So Leeds UTD went to them to play versus them, and you know, for me, I thought that they would be able to hold their composure considering the performance versus Everton They would look for a more defensive approach with more sense. You know, like for promoted teams looking to make it in the Premier League, they need to understand that no new team has made it in the Prem for the past few years, you know. So look at what all the previous teams did. They came up wanting to keep their philosophy, blah blah blah, etc. etc. And it has not worked. It has not worked. Adapt to the Prem, you know, and we can give them some credit. You know, you see some teams stocking up on central midfielders because in the English Premier League, your midfield needs to be tenacious. Your midfield needs to be agile. Your midfield needs to be solid. Your midfield in the Premier League needs to be so much things. So much things. So I've been saying it for quite some time now. You know, you want to get established, you want to have a better season in the Premier League, you sign established midfielders. You sign established central midfielders. You want the players that are supposed to be on the ball for you regularly, you want them to already know what they're supposed to do. You don't want to be establishing yourself, trying to figure out what to do, you know? You try new stuff after you've established yourself, you know? You're stepping up to a new league, see what the league has been doing well, and how do you do that while implementing your styles. No team has survived trying to implement their philosophy. Adapt to the best league in the world, then implement your style. That's how it works. That's how it used to work. Now we all have philosophy and everything, and nobody is staying up. So let's see how these UTD react to that humbling defeat to them, you know, because that lineup, what was that lineup for? No Ethan Ampadu, their central midfield captain who opened the season for them and opened it with a win, a very defensive minded central midfielder. Where was he? An unused substitute. That's what he was. That's what he was, an unused substitute. So Leeds UTD already has 3 points, open with a win. It's just, you know, it's them. So they're gonna respect them because it's them and blah blah blah. Let's see what they do versus other opposition. How will they react? How will they look to maintain a foothold in the Premier League? Everton versus Brighton. They didn't start Jack Grealish in the last game. This game he comes in and he brings the goods. 2 assists to get his Everton career underway. His full debut, and he tops it off with 2 assists. Everton gets the big victory, 2-0 over Brighton. A team that since Yves Bissouma and how tenacious, how hard it is to win the ball from him and his technicality, they build a brand for themselves. Brighton as scouting, and you know everybody wants a Brighton player. Everybody wants a Brighton player. Right now the talk of Brighton is Carlos Baleba, you know? What's the hype on these players if they can't perform, you know? What's the hype of these players if they can't perform in the games, you know? So for me, I'm glad that I'm a Tottenham fan, support Tottenham Hotspur. Daniel Levy is the main guy, and you know, he doesn't sign scraps, you know? Scraps are a part of the game. He doesn't sign scraps though. You can say the worst signing Tottenham has made is Timo Werner. That's the worst signing we've made. Timo Werner, you know, in recent times, not during that Mauricio Pochettino era when it was only about glorified losing. We're talking about since we've become a club with standards and established ourselves. Tottenham has always been a good team, you know? Now Tottenham is a club. Tottenham is the dark horse of the Premier League. You know, nobody knows what to expect in these times with Tottenham. So Good win for Everton. 3 points on board. And Jack Grealish with a brace of assists. So it's looking good for Everton. It's looking good for Everton. Crystal Palace and Forest, Nottingham Forest. This was a game I thought that Nottingham Forest would be able to go to Palace and get the 3 points, considering that they've done business with them, you know? It didn't win like that. Didn't go like that. 1-1 draw, you know? I think neither team can complain. Both clubs, Crystal Palace has won a title. They won the FA Cup. They won the Community Shield, you know? So expectations with Glasner, with Olivier Glasner, is going to increase for Crystal Palace, and the same can be said for Nottingham Forest, who should have qualified for the Champions League. They're in a European spot, so won't complain, you know. Both clubs are European teams now. So it was a proper European clash, and they both drew. So they drew. So I think it's a good sign going into the European season to see where both clubs, what they will be looking to do, you know. Last year, England won both the Europa League and the Conference League. The year before, the time before that, it was 2023, when Man City won the Champions League and West Ham won the Conference League. So England has been making progress back in Europe, because Chelsea even won it. Chelsea won it 2 years before as well. So England is getting more European silverware as we progress, and seeing these two clubs is a year where so many English clubs will be in Europe. I think it's 8. I think 8 clubs will be in Europe. I'm not sure. 8, 7, or it's more than the regular though. I'm sure it's more than the regular. So let's see what both teams bring to Europe and how they will be able to manage being in 4 competitions. You know, these teams are now in 4 competitions, so it's gonna take more out of the players, and they made signings, and you know, so let's see how do they fare in these competitions that they used to mock Tottenham for. You know, Tottenham has now won the Europa League, so let's see what do they do. Fulham versus Manchester United. The last video I was telling you that I think Fulham will be battling relegation. I think so. I've not seen, you know, they have players. Yes, they have players. But I've not seen where they've made signings that improves their team, you know. This year, the teams that came up, Leeds UTD, Burnley, and Sunderland, they've made a lot of improvements to their squad. Leeds UTD came into the Prem as the first champion to open as a winner in so many years. So these clubs that were mid-table need to understand that this year is gonna be harder. You know, the competition will be stronger. Yes, so with promoted clubs putting more effort because of the lack of survival from them, these mid-table clubs are now facing the risk of being relegated, because all eyes are looking on the Premier League to see why aren't the promoted teams being able to stay up, you know? It's going looking like that now. So Fulham is a team where I don't see it, you know, and they played Manchester United and the draw. They drew, you know. I've already started asking, when do you think it will happen? You know? I don't have to say anything else. Only, when do you think it will happen? Yeah. So match week 2 closed off with Newcastle hosting Liverpool. we all know how it's going with Alexander, Isaac, whatever you want to say. And Liverpool took an early lead. Newcastle went down to 10 men with Anthony Gordon, and Liverpool were able to double the lead. Newcastle fought back. It went to 2-all, and that is, I guess, these are the reasons. This is part of the reason why players want to move from their clubs, because you're 10 man, you fight back from 2-0 down, and it's now 2-all. Where's your mindset? You know, like, yes, you wanna go for the winner and all. Who are these experienced central midfielders to talk to the team and let them know that, come on guys, stay calm, stay focused, and let's, 3 points is good. 3 points is great, 3 points is perfect. A point though with 10 man versus the league leaders, that would have been great also. But in the end, they got nothing. The game ended 3-2, and that was the match week. So for me now, I'm picking my team of the week. So I don't know how other people do it. It's like Liverpool versus Newcastle. It's like the opener of game week 3 now. We're now at the end of game week 2, and we're going into game week 3. That Liverpool versus Newcastle open. So I picked my team of the week already. I guess I can put it in the video right here, and you can see it as, so in goal, Jugslard, good. G. Vicario, Guglielmo, to be honest, I've never looked at it. Jugslard, G. Vicario, yeah, in goal. 2 clean sheets back to back, 6 points, 5 goals. The goalkeeper is doing his job, Yes, so Guglielmo, Jugslard, G. Vicario in goal. For me, this formation is a 3. So for my formation, it's basically 1 centre back, and that is Mickey van de Ven, really Ven. He's the player that balances the team, they'll call them the 6 or whatever. For me, I work with a 5. He's a 5 for the team, the sweeping centre back, ensuring that all the other players are in their positions. As you can see, I use a lot of central midfielders. At left fullback, I have James Garner, Jamison. Jamison is my left fullback, the Everton man. We're looking to see when Gerard Branthwaite makes his return into the team. So he's our left wing back. Right left fullback, and then right fullback is Pedro Porro, proper player. Faced a lot of criticism from the fans. He was more, he came from Portugal where he was more of an attacking wing back. And based on Tottenham and the managers he's played under now, he has gotten a chance to work on his defensive side. As no proper right full back, I can't name many players better than him in the Premier League. To be honest, I don't think anybody is better than Pedro Porro at right full back in the Premier League and in the world. Maybe Achraf Hakimi, maybe. The thing is though, when we played them with our strongest team on the field still, we had them 2-0, So yeah, they came back and won. That's because of the inexperience of Thomas Frank, so we won't get into it. Pedro Porro, best fullback in the world, best right fullback in the world. Yeah. So in midfield, you might not see it properly. It's a midfield 4. It's a midfield 4. 4 central midfielders. Josh Cullen of Burnley. He scored, and it's good. We played them and I got to see the quality of these players, and they conceded 3 goals versus Tottenham Hotspur, and that didn't affect them. They went again and they secured their victory. They got a 2-0 victory, and the players are confident. In the middle of everything, because we're thinking as a Tottenham fan, with Ankpastikagolo, Chelsea was our 10th game, our 11th game. I don't remember. And now Thomas Frank is with Chelsea our 10th game. So in the middle, MC, Moises Caicedo. For now, we're thinking how we're gonna block all. We're thinking how we're gonna block all passages of play to him. So in the same time, this is the formation for the team of the week. We know who we have our eyes on, and that's Moises Caicedo, who is currently, he's the tick for Chelsea. He's the player everywhere. He's the player everywhere, getting there and things. So proper player to be the holding midfielder. Beside him, Joe Palhinha, scored versus Man City. So far, colossal performance after colossal performance. And that's what I want from my 6, I never really, interested in the 6 thing. But that's what I want from my 6 apparently. And he's doing it well. So far, he's gelling with the team. Good player. Proper player. Proper duo. So, on the right wing, Antoine Semenyo. I don't need to say much on Antoine Semenyo. Proper player. Can play either wing. He's going dangerous. Goals. What more can I say on Antoine Semenyo? He started the league well. He started the season well. And I have to, good. Let's see if we can continue. We play Bournemouth next. Of course, I don't want the player that I've been seeing so far to turn up very well. And even if he turns up, I believe in both my fullbacks. Regardless of who starts. So it's gonna be a proper game facing this guy, Antoine Semenyo. Yeah, I look forward to it. And the next wing is Anthony, another brand new player who scored to help his team to get off the mark in the Premier League. Also can play both sides, a little less known though, so it's gonna take some time for the league to really know who he is, and I think he deserves to be in the game match of the team of the week for game week 2. Up top, Marcus Tavernier, the free role, he's the free midfielder for me. Marcus Tavernier, he's free. He has no role. Marcus Tavernier, no role. He's able to basically like what we thought Conor Gallagher would be. He's allowed to just roam the field as a central midfielder, that player who gets the ball around, helps out Moises Caicedo when he can, and more of the same. Up top, still my guy, still 9 Rice, still R9, still Richardson Andrade. He's having a great season. You have to give him props. So that's my 11 for game week 2 going into game week 3. So to be honest, I've not really analyzed the Liverpool versus Newcastle game, to be honest, and being versus 10 men, maybe next week a Newcastle player will be in my team. Definitely not a Liverpool player though, based on the performance, considering everything. So that's my team of the week, and it's my review of game week 2. So I'm gonna try to do our game week 3 preview, where the teams, I get to go through the teams and talk about all the teams. Guys, thanks for watching. If you do, it's Kiret Pablan, KP Kiret Pablan. This is Pablonia Ends. Yeah guys, bless up. We are doing it. We're out there. Yeah. Remember, listen to my song them. I think that. Yeah.